Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ECPPS podcast. My name is Clay Mercer, and I'm happy to be with you. And sitting across from me, as usual, is Board Chair Miss Angela Cobb. Chair Cobb, thank you so much for making this show happen. The podcast last month, everybody gave it positive reviews. Great conversation, and I'm expecting to have another one with you here today.
Yeah, we're fired up and ready to go.
Yeah, as always. And so, obviously, Superintendent Dr. Keith Parker was not able to join us here today. He's a busy man, and we understand that. Hopefully, he'll be joining us next month. So not only is October about Halloween, it's also National Principals Month, and ECPPS recognized the wonderful principals at our schools. I want to take a little bit of time, Board Chair Cobb, and give an acknowledgement to these principals who are doing a great job within the district. And I want to start off with Lashikia Brothers over at Central Elementary. I love talking to her. She has a great personality, as all of our principals do. But if you could just speak about what she does day in and day out, and part of the reason of why Central Elementary is just growing by leaps and bounds is because of her leadership.
It definitely is. I've known Miss Brothers for a long time. We actually worked together a couple of decades ago back at ECMS, and she brings to the table as an amazing leader kindness and empathy and caring. She is genuinely tuned into what her students need and what her staff needs. And I think that as a principal of Central Elementary School, when you walk in that building, you feel that. The atmosphere is palpable. You can feel her care and her kindness, and she has high expectations. Sometimes people see kindness and they don't know whether or not the expectations are there, but she demands the very best of everyone in that building. And it's done in such a way that she promotes that that kindness and that caring.
Kalina Bartlett over at the micro school, and we're excited to talk about the micro school and talk a little bit about what she has brought to the school.
Kalina Bartlett, I've known her a long time too. She brings a background in academically gifted students that weaves into what the micro school is doing, because it is so different and so out of the box. And she leads with passion. And so she's very excited about what's going on. She's got an interesting path ahead of her because the micro school is brand new and there aren't really a whole lot of road signs to guide her. So she's pretty much developing it as she goes along, but her personality and her background support that.
Yeah, definitely. Jonathan Sneed over at Sheep Harney Elementary. I'm sure you have some good memories about him too.
Mr. Sneed's personality too is one that he is so approachable by his staff and by his students. I watched him at the board meeting as some students were recognized, and he just went over, even just to get a picture with them, with some members of the board. You could tell there was a rapport there and a relationship there with those students as he placed them to get them in, right for the picture. Yes. It was very obvious that they knew him, that he knew them, and that relationship was there. And I think that's one of his strengths for sure, is building those relationships.
Mr. James Schiffbauer over at Weeksville Elementary.
Weeksville Elementary is a very unique school, and the fact that it is a little bit outside of the limits, just like Northside, outside of the city limits, it's a lot of times supported by that community out there. And Mr. Schiffbauer has just gone in and worked with that community support so much. And he works so well with his administrator. They are such a good pair. And I think it takes a special talent to be able to be a principal, but also step back and know that you have such powerful people in your building, and the teachers and in the administrators and in the staff there. He pretty much knows what he's got there, and he utilizes that to the fullest.
I love that. We also have a wonderful principal over at Northside Elementary, Miss Jessica Prayer.
And Miss Prayer has the similar setup where she's got a lot of community backing, and she's got also a pretty interesting situation, because where Weeksville is a smaller school, Northside is a larger school. And so sometimes those numbers, it's hard to build that close-knit community, but she's really done a wonderful job.
Marianne Everett over at P.W. Moore Elementary.
Miss Everett is new this year, but she's not new to P.W. Moore because she was the assistant principal there. Her personality lights up a room. You can see that she is so excited about being the principal and leader of that school. Mm-hmm. And she's very, very waiting to see what's next for that school because she feels so strongly that they are going to take it to the next level. And you see that in everything that she does.
Yeah, I think all of our principals expect to take it to the next level. So again, we're just having a great time acknowledging them, as well as Miss Kim Robertson over at J.C. Sawyer.
Miss Robertson works really, really diligently to make sure that everyone feels included in her building and that everyone knows that they have a common goal, and that's to make sure that our kids are safe and that they are well educated and that they are recognized for their individual talents and gifts. And so she's been working really hard to develop that kind of an atmosphere. And again, every single one of our principals, every school culture is a little bit different, but when you walk into that building, you can feel a sense of just happiness and hard work.
Yeah.
It's really good.
All right. Miss Sharon Bell over at Elizabeth City Middle.
So Miss Sharon Bell, she is the kind of principal that makes people want to work harder. And she creates an atmosphere and an environment of inclusion for everybody and how they can take fun and make that a part of what is interwoven into success and still be successful, even though they're having a good time doing it. And so the culture of that school is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I love that. Dr. Melissa Bond over at River Road Middle.
The same thing with Dr. Bond, working at River Road Middle, working together with her teachers, working together with her students. They create a family atmosphere. They create a culture of success and working hard.
Yeah, I hear that a lot at River Road. It's the family atmosphere. So it's interesting that you say that. Christopher Paulette over at H.L. Trigg.
I had the privilege of working with Mr. Paulette on an administrative team, and he is one of the kindest individuals you would ever meet. He really cares about students, and he has a skill set to work with students at Trigg that is just unrivaled. I mean, he really wants to do everything he can to make sure the students are successful there, and he goes above and beyond.
Yeah. Miss Jennifer Lee over at the Early College.
Miss Lee is a visionary. She really is. She knows what it takes to succeed and to move forward, and she's not scared to work hard to get there, and she's not scared to ask her staff and students to work hard to get there.
Miss Dee Moore over at Pasquotank County High.
There's so much I could say about Miss Moore. Really, there is. I've worked with her before. We've worked together. And even to this day, we'll bounce an idea or two off of each other at the most random of times. She is the perfect person to be leading Pasquotank County High School. I mean, she really is. And it's just seeing her in her element and knowing how much pride there is there, that's where she started. You know, seeing that pride and seeing her just wrap herself around every aspect of that school to make it successful is a joy to watch.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously we can't forget about Northeastern High School and the wonderful principal there. Yeah,
Mr. Fonville has brought so much stability and clarity and just a sense of accomplishment and opportunity to Northeastern High School. And, you know, as school board chair, you can't be biased, but that's my alma mater. And so I always look at Northeastern a little bit closer and say, okay, you know, what's going on here? And Mr. Fonville has just been such an asset in leading that school.
And he's been very welcoming and whenever I have conversation with him. So, and all of the principals, you know, we want to send congratulations to all of the principals and again, the staff for the continued job that they do day in and day out. You can see more about each of our principals when you go online to ecpps.k12.nc.us. It's the ECPPS podcast. Clay Mercer with board chair Angela Cobb. And, you know, we're talking about the month of October, and obviously it's been a fun month within the district. I want to highlight a few more students and staff members. First, I got to send some congratulations out to the new student board members, and we have them here with us here today. If I could give a little bit of time to them, and if you could speak on each of them and talk a little bit about what they bring to the board, especially when it comes to this decision-making that takes place.
So on our board, we are one of our unique features is the fact that we do have student board members. Not every board does that. Okay. Vice Chair Pam Pereza is who leads that charge, and every year she is the leader of that committee that goes through the process of seeking our student board member applicants. We have an application process, and that is open to students who are in the 11th grade year who will be seniors that next year. Mm-hmm. And so the students do apply. They have to go through an interview process, and then the board as a whole takes a look at all things and chooses one from each school. So we have a representative from Pasquotank High School, a representative from Northeastern High School, and a representative from the early college. Mm-hmm. And basically what happens after that choice is made is that those three students become board members. Now, they don't vote, but they do attend open meetings, and they do attend activities and events, just like us being here today. They represent us in many, many capacities. One of the benefits, I think, of having student board members is they get to bring to us what is going on in their schools. Mm-hmm. We get to learn from them what is happening and across the board. And then they get to hear some things from the board perspective that they can take back to their schools and discuss with other students, the teachers, the principal, whoever the appropriate audience is. Mm-hmm. And so that opportunity for us to be able to have a bridge like that into the schools is very helpful to us and to them, I think. Yeah, definitely. I see how vital it is to have that, and it's wonderful that we have that here in the district. If you could take some time just to introduce them, the ones that have joined us here today. Well, I'm going to let them do that. I think that they need to be able to tell a little bit about them. So we'll start, ladies, if you'll just tell us, your name, what school you're from, maybe one thing about your school that really stands out right now as being a positive, and even maybe plans for what's next for you. Yeah.
Hey everyone, my name is Chaiyanne Barrett, and I'm the student board member representative for Pasquotank County High School. One of the things that really excites me about being a part of the board is how I get to be one of the faces and a voice for my school. I really like being able to connect with the students. I like for them to be able to look at me as a big sister. That's something I've very seen this year. A lot of students come to me more than usual, and I think that's not only because of me being on the board, but me showing my face more often in school, and just with this being my senior year, having someone to look up to as a senior, always having someone to talk to. So I really like being able to be a voice and a face for my school and for the younger students to come to. One of the big things that we have going on at my school right now would be our 4 E's. That's really been the highlight of my school these past 3 years. Our 4 E's are enrollment, employment, enlistment, and entrepreneurship. I think with these 4 E's, our students have a very big chance of knowing what they want to do after high school and giving them something to look forward to after high school, just knowing what you want to do and preparing for that before, we graduate. So I think that's something that my school has a very big asset to.
Hi, I'm Kathryn Huto, the student board member for Northeastern High School. I joined the board because I wanted to be able to communicate to maybe adults who had an outsider perspective what was actually going on in my school, and to help get the point across that, hey, maybe this isn't great, or maybe this is great. We love this program. Please keep doing this. Something great that's going on right now is in the past, I want to say 2 or 3 years, we have had a lot of new programs and organizations open up. For example, we had an aviation academy open. They've taken field trips. They're learning to fly. They're going to get their pilot's license, actually, at the end of their senior year. And then we have some programs like teacher cadets, and our DECA is really taking off. And then, of course, our Student Government Association is doing great.
Hi, everyone. I'm Natalie Gallop from the Elizabeth City Early College. And what really excites me about being on the board is that I feel that I can help bridge the gap between adults and students. Because sometimes, students may feel that adults may not understand them, and similarly, adults may feel that the students aren't understanding them as well. But being in this position, I can help bring student ideas to the board and similarly help understand why the board is making certain decisions and bring it to my school's perspective. And something going on at my school, or something that I really enjoy about my school, is the close-knit community that we have. Since my school is so small, my senior class is actually only 25 students, we feel so like a big family, or like a small family, actually. We're all so connected to one another, and the personal relationships that we build with the staff and teachers is really, really relevant there.
Thank you, ladies, for being a part of today's show. I know you're going to bring some great things to the board and some great information. And again, I'm so happy that you all are a part of the decision-making process. I think it's a very vital part of what we do here within the district. You're listening to the ECPPS podcast. And another special moment that happened over at Pasquotank County High School, Mr. Seth Moore. He was named ECPPS District Beginning Teacher of the Year. It's a mouthful, but if you could, Board Chair Cobb, tell us a little bit more about what it takes to receive that recognition.
So we recognize Teacher of the Year in May in our district, but in October we recognize the Beginning Teacher of the Year, and that program was started by NCAT. And if I had to tell you what NCAT stood for right now, I know I couldn't do it. But it was started by NCAT, and it's basically geared towards a teacher who has served their first year in the classroom. Okay. So they look at those teachers in their second year. They've completed 1 year of classroom experience. Mm-hmm. And each school has an opportunity to nominate someone for Beginning Teacher of the Year. And then from the entire district pool, a winner is chosen. Mm-hmm. And so on our board meeting on October 27th, we had an opportunity to recognize all of the teachers, Beginning Teachers of the Year, mm-hmm. as well as Mr. Moore, who was our winning beginning teacher.
Yeah, well, congratulations to him. Sticking with the Panthers for a little bit, they recently celebrated their 25th year of existence. And so Principal Moore attended the recent board meeting that you just talked about, and she gave us a little bit of insight on the celebration that happened on October 10th and 11th. She also recognized Patricia Townsend and Cheryl Boone Brown, two staff members who helped make the celebration special. They've been there, like she said, when they were putting the bricks up in there. They've been there since then. But 25 years of the Panthers here, and they're only getting better. That's definitely a special recognition, and I'm glad that we had the chance to do that.
Absolutely. I was very fortunate early on in my career when I came back to the school system to be an English teacher and a graduation project coordinator at Pasquotank County High School. So I worked there for about 6 years, and I went to some of the festivities for their 25th, and they had a great game where they brought back former administrators. The first principal for Pasquotank County High School was Patty Hamler, and she attended the weekend festivities, came back in, and there were several other administrators. I was very fortunate to be able to go to the gala Saturday night, and definitely could see why Miss Townsend and Miss Boone Brown should be recognized. They are the most talented individuals with setting up something so beautiful and so elegant. And it was a beautiful program, opportunity to see where students were now. There were in attendance, there were former students, former teachers, administrators, current teachers. They recognized those charter members like Miss Boone and Miss Townsend who had been there since the bricks were laid. And it was just a wonderful experience. It was like a reunion of sorts. Sure, yeah. And so just being able to recognize that it's hard to believe that Pasquotank County High School has been here for 25 years. Yeah. But it was a beautiful weekend of events to recognize their excellence. Yeah,
great to bring them all together. And again, 25 years of the Panthers is beautiful. And again, we're so happy to have them. And again, when you talk about the excellence of ECPPS, they're a major part of it, as well as our pre-K program. And I wanted to bring some awareness to that also. And this also was a recognition at the board meeting as it continues to grow. And it was great to see Miss Holly Cartwright. She was selected as the pre-K Teacher of the Year. Also, Madison Spencer received pre-K Employee of the Year honors. And Jamie Curls was selected as Beginning Pre-K Teacher of the Year. I'm sure you are very proud of them and everyone within the pre-K program.
The pre-K coordinator, Danny Morris White, is just a spitfire. She is. I told her afterwards that she needs to be in broadcast or something, because she's just so enthusiastic and passionate about the pre-K program. And she has every right to be when she has staff members like those that were recognized. Holly Cartwright's been a pre-K teacher for 27 years. Wow. That takes a special person to work with 4-year-olds for that long. You definitely know that was her calling. And then the other two ladies, Miss Spencer and Miss Curls, they are making an impact just like everybody in that department. So the pre-K program was one of the programs we highlighted at the board meeting on Monday night. And Sheep Harney Elementary School was the other program that we highlighted. And so every board meeting, we highlight several schools or programs with recognitions and with instructional highlights about what's going on in the building academically.
Well, as Ms. Cobb just said, the pre-K program was highlighted during the board meeting. Let's take a listen to that presentation right now.
Pre-K is where learning begins.
Hello and welcome to Pre-K, where learning begins with joy, care, and a strong foundation for future success. We're so excited to partner with our families during this important early year of learning. At Sheep Harney, we believe pre-K is more than just preparation for kindergarten. It's a time when children grow, explore, and build the social, emotional, and academic skills they'll carry with them for years to come.
This is my 27th year with the pre-K program. Pre-K's aim is to take 4-year-old children, and some of these children have just turned 4 when they come to pre-K, and help them to become self-confident, socially and emotionally stable so they can go on to become successful kindergartners.
In these early years, social-emotional development is just as important as academics. Our play-based approach helps children build confidence, empathy, and communication skills, all while discovering the joy of learning.
I like to play with my friends. I learned about writing my name, and I learned about the letter P, and I know cutting.
In our classrooms, students engage in whole group instruction, where they focus on key foundational skills and concepts like numbers, letters, colors, and shapes, all in a fun and developmentally appropriate way.
My favorite day at school is circle time.
Throughout the day, students also participate in learning centers, where they explore hands-on activities and learn through play. Whether they're building with blocks, creating art, or pretending in the kitchen area, children are developing critical thinking, cooperation, and problem-solving skills. We also provide teacher-led small group instruction, which allows us to focus on each child's individual needs. These small group times help us tailor learning experiences that support every child's growth and development. An important part of our literacy instruction includes Heggerty, a phonemic awareness program that uses movement and rhythm to help students understand the sounds and words. Through this engaging kinesthetic approach, children build a strong foundation for reading by connecting sounds to letters in a way that makes learning more memorable and fun.
We like to include families in our learning. We do that by sending projects home with the children that they can do with their families. We also have events and activities at school where parents can come in and do learning activities with their children and see just how much fun learning can be.
At Sheep Harney Pre-K, we're not just teaching, we're building relationships, fostering early learning, and helping every child thrive.
Pre-K is where the love of learning begins.
Also, the staff at Sheep Harney Elementary School was also highlighted. Let's enjoy the sounds from that video now here on the ECPPS podcast.
This year, our initiative with Participate Learning is to produce students who are more global citizens. Take a look around our school at some of the things that are going on.
This year, our school has started an exciting journey, global journey with Participate Learning, where each month we will explore a new theme to help our students stay connected to the world around them. In September, we focused on self-awareness through the book The Dot, where we focus on activities incorporated in the classroom that celebrated what makes each child unique. Currently, we're celebrating communications competency through Hispanic Heritage Month, where each classroom has a designated country that they've selected to incorporate learning into their classrooms where students can learn about cultures, traditions, foods, and they intertwine that through math and literacy and art as well.
So global learning, being a part of the global environment, learning about other cultures, learning about their food, learning about just talking about diversity. All right, so it's very good to engage our students for them to be learning about other countries.
For first grade, our standard was ask and answer questions about nonfiction text. So we studied Cuba, and we read books about Cuba, we watched videos about Cuba, and I asked the students the questions, and they're able to retell me the information. So it's important for our students to learn about the whole world, not just right here in Elizabeth City at Sheepharney Elementary.
I think it's really cool because we get to learn about different types of cultures and what they do. It's important to learn this stuff, so if you travel to Puerto Rico, maybe you can already know some of their foods and other things.
Even in our DLI classes, those students are also learning a global perspective as they explore the language of Spanish and all it has to offer.
So I am our school's global lead. We also have a global committee, and so we sit together and we look at the monthly themes, we share resources with staff, and then we share ideas of what they can do each month and each week to intertwine that into their lesson, to broaden what's happening outside of Elizabeth City, what's outside of our community, and what do we do that impacts the world around us.
Wonderful presentations. And Chair Cobb, when you talk about the board meeting, are there some other areas that we want to highlight here on today's show?
Absolutely. One of the things that I wanted to make sure we highlighted was our school nutrition department. So every month when we have our board meeting, we do our closed session before we do our open session. And we have made it a point as a board to have a meal together. And so during closed session, we all have a meal together. And we usually try to highlight local businesses, new businesses. We run the gamut of who we can highlight. Well, this month, school nutrition reached out and wanted to be able to feed us. Mm-hmm. And it was in conjunction with the fact that this is Farm to Table month, and we have a school nutrition department that utilizes farm to table practices quite a bit. Mm-hmm. We had an amazing meal. I mean, it was really, really good.
I heard some that was on the menu, and it sounded good.
Catfish and chicken and coleslaw and collard greens, and everything was like North Carolina, local. Some of the things came just from right down the road. And not only did they feed us an amazing meal, Miss Reinhardt and her staff had a tasting table at the board meeting. Oh, wow. So the folks that were coming into the board meeting in the audience, whether it was students being recognized or staff or the public, they could go up and actually taste some of the amazing products that were farm to table. They had blueberries, and they had catfish, and they had these little Big Mac salads in a cup, and they really some amazing things. Yeah. And so that was an interesting take on a board meeting. We'd never done anything like that before. Mm-hmm. So it was great to be able to see that farm to table program in action. Another part of the recognition that we did was we did some recognition of our professional development conference that's called Ignite. Mm-hmm. This, I think, is the third year of Ignite. And this year we had almost 500 participants at the conference. It is set up like a professional conference that you might go to in the western part of the state or the middle part of the state. Very nice. And we had staff members there. We've actually even had some interest from staff members outside of our county that want to come to some of the information. We had student teachers from Elizabeth City State University that attended some of these Ignite sessions, and positive feedback, really great feedback. It takes a lot to plan that kind of conference. Yeah, and so the folks on our innovation team led by Terry Wilson that planned that conference, they work really hard. One of the shout outs that they gave in recognition that I thought was amazing was to the custodial staff of Northeastern High School.
Yes, they did.
I know most of those personally. They are some of the hardest working people in our school district, and they made sure that everything was just spot on. And so it was really important to recognize them. I also recognized were some of our summer technology interns. Our technology department has an opportunity to employ some students over the summer, and they get some practical experience working at the help desk or working to fix machines, and they're paid. And so that's an opportunity that hopefully they're going to be able to extend. So those individuals were recognized. And we also had an opportunity to recognize the students in our teacher cadet program, which we have a couple of, right? Chaiyanne and Kathryn both are in our teacher cadet program. The teacher cadet program is like a training program for students who are interested in possibly becoming teachers themselves. Okay. And so they have an opportunity to see what it's like and experience those kinds of things before they make that final decision. Sarah Byram has been leading that in our district, and it's an opportunity to be able to get a glimpse into what's going on in that world. So we had a lot of recognitions, and sometimes people are like, boy, your meeting was really long because of those recognitions. And to that I say, thank goodness we have things to recognize.
That is correct. Yeah.
So that's always a positive. And I also want to mention that upcoming in November is the annual North Carolina School Board Association Conference. This year, as it was last year, members of the school board will be presenting, and we are going to be doing a presentation actually about the micro school. So looking forward to that. Also have an opportunity to recognize some school board members for their participation in different training opportunities, as well as our micro school submitted some entries to the contest that they provide for students. There's an elementary poster contest, a middle school and high school video contest, and so we had some entries for that as well. So we'll be excited to see if those students do any kind of winning on those competitions.
Yeah, hopefully they will. And again, always great things happening within ECPPS. And that's what this podcast is all about. We want to inform you about what's taking place within our district. So thank you so much for making this happen. If you missed out, family, on any parts of today's show, you want to catch the inaugural show or any parts of this one, just go to the WRVS Podcast Network. And it's also available on our YouTube channel. Board Chair Cobb, thank you so much for making this happen. Looking forward to catching up with you next month. And we'll talk about Thanksgiving. I don't know what's on the menu for you or what you're thinking about, but I know it's going to be some good food. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm sure it'll be delicious. Thank you so much for having us.
The ECPPS podcast is powered by Elizabeth City Pasquotank Public Schools in collaboration with the Elizabeth City State University Department of Radio and Television Services. Recorded and produced at WRVS Studios on the campus of ECSU.